Welcome, Shack Packers, to Tales from the Shack. Step inside where the stories are cosy, but the chills run deep. This week we bring you a short tale from the Shack to ignite your imagination and possibly send a shiver down your spine. We're thrilled to have you join us, so grab your favourite brew, pull up a seat and swing that light, and let the magic of storytelling whisk you away. There's something about a French brocante that makes you feel like you're rummaging through time itself. Old copper pans, ceramic dolls with cracked faces, and the occasional thing that shouldn't be touched, let alone sold. This particular find, one warm Sunday, was a mirror. Old, very old, gilded, gaudy in fact, and definitely not my taste at all. Plus it felt, well, eerie. I wouldn't usually have looked at it twice, but the woman running the stall, Madame Mirelle, she told me her name was, practically insisted. She said it once belonged to a stage illusionist in the 1800s, claimed that it could show more than just your reflection. Curious? Of course I was. We're planning a season of cursed objects on the podcast, and why wouldn't we want it to investigate it in the shack? Sensible? Of course not. I was not remotely sensible. So I paid Madame Mirelle €10 and I brought it back to the shack. When I unwrapped it, I realised it wasn't just any mirror. When I looked at it closely, the frame was actually carved with strange figures, sort of like tiny faces, twisting vines, and what looked suspiciously like eyes, human eyes. At the moment I hung it above the fireplace in the shack, the atmosphere seemed to change. The place felt chillier and weirdly heavier, but I just put it down to me just feeling tired. It wasn't until it began to get dark, that's late here at the moment, almost 11 o'clock, that I realised the mirror had extra depth. Not like it was dusty or tarnished, no, that wasn't it. It was as if the reflection extended past the room, like you could fall into it, like it was a window. And sometimes when I happened to glance at it, it felt like something inside the mirror looked back. The first time I really saw him in the reflection, I thought it was a trick of the light. A man just over my shoulder, tall, sharp cheekbones, wearing a top hat, perfectly still, perfectly silent. I spun around and there was no one there. I looked back in the mirror, but nothing, he'd gone. Over the next few days, it seemed that he got a little more confident. He appeared closer behind me. His smile was unnervingly calm, and each time I saw him, he looked more real, less translucent, not so ghostly. He was actually beginning to look full-blooded and human, almost as if he was alive. One evening, when I went to the shack, I found the mirror fogged from the inside, like someone had been breathing on it. There was a handprint blooming across the glass, 5 long slender fingers pressed outward. It was as if he wanted out. I should have smashed it there and then, but I don't like breaking mirrors. It's said to bring bad luck. But what was I having right now, for goodness sake? Then I realised why I didn't break the glass. I was curious. I started staring into the mirror more every day, seeing more things in it. Visions. Memories that actually weren't mine. A theatre stage lit by gaslight. A velvet curtain. A magician performing impossible feats, vanishing women, twisting shadows, disappearing through mirrors, and then in the final act, I watch as he stepped through his own reflection. And he never comes back. He completely disappeared. The Mirror Man, that's apparently what they called him. According to the stories, newspaper reports and weird myths surrounding him that I later found buried in an old stage journal and some stuff on creepypasta on the internet. His real name was Etienne Lavelle. He performed the mirror walk illusion until one night in 1874 it worked too well. Witnesses said he never re-emerged. He just vanished mid-show. Rumour says that he traded his soul for real magic. And when he disappeared, he took the mirror world with him, becoming its prisoner. Or maybe its master? Madame Mirelle. Well, turns out she's not just a brocante dealer. She's his flipping granddaughter, a sort of keeper of cursed curios. She travels around placing the mirror in homes ripe for thinning. Her words, not mine. Apparently, old houses with a bit of grief, a few secrets, and just the right type of silence or isolation act as gateways. Places where reality is perhaps fraying, a home that's ripe to let something in. Or worse still, let something out. As the Mirror Man, he feeds on curiosity. He wants you to look for too long. Needless to say, I've hidden the mirror in an old ruined building we have on another patch of land. And it's buried and bricked up. I don't plan on giving it back so that Madame Mirelle can sell it on again. And I don't plan on looking into it ever again. Still, sometimes, just sometimes, I catch a glimpse on other reflective surfaces. The kettle, the car mirror, puddles, and even the glass on my phone. And just for a second, I pause. Is that a faint glint of a top hat and the knowing smile of someone who knows exactly where I am and where I live? Take care, shack packers, when buying old items at flea markets or brocantes. You're never really sure exactly what you're bringing home. Well, that's a wrap for this week's Tales from the Shack. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week. Until then, keep your minds open, your lamps lit, and we'll see you all again next week at the Freakin Shack. Contact us at fshack03@gmail.com or find us on social media by searching hashtag the Freakin Shack. That's freaking without a G. We're looking forward to hearing from you really soon.